Audio is officially a rolling.
And 3, 2,
2.
1.
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon. It's some time of the day.
It's some time of the day where you are.
Yeah.
Good day.
Hello.
Hi. How's it going?
What's up?
It's us again.
I'm Julian.
I'm Eph.
And together,
We are.
Polo Lewis. That's right. Welcome to the Polo Lewis podcast. We are Polo Lewis. This is where we talk about how difficult it is to make an animated character by yourselves.
Oh, it's really difficult.
Especially if you're not a trained animator or artist.
Yeah.
Which,
neither of us are.
yeah.
So we started from the music side, and we were like, oh,
We made
It's
a bunch
gotta-
of music, and we were like, it'd be cool to make just an animated character to market the music with.
And
5 years later, here we are. Have you heard of Polo Lewis yet? Probably not. But
unlikely.
we're here. We're here, and you're going to hear about us soon because we're getting this going. We're getting some other things
We
going.
got some music.
I think 2024 is going to be the year that like we show up and people are like, "Oh, this is you guys just got here, huh?" And we're like, "No,
We should
no, we've been here." But
we should start like fuck the Christian calendar. We should just go to the Jewish calendar. I think year 5,800.
that sounds way better. Sounds way better.
I think that's the year.
I think we should just use that for the Plutoverse.
Yeah, exactly.
Just use the actual year that it is. Yeah, that's great. What's fucked to me about history is that after a while,
45 minutes.
the numbers start going up in the other direction.
What do you mean?
Because like depending on who you are, right? Like
Right.
some people use BC, some people use BCE,
Yeah.
like before Common Era. But as soon as you hit that time, like it's the year 1 BCE, but then a year before that is the year 2 BCE.
Yeah.
And the year before that,
So
you're
we're just
going
like
backwards, but
zero.
you're adding
Yeah.
years. So 256 BCE is way fucking earlier than 2 BCE, but it doesn't sound like it. Fucking doesn't make any sense. You started counting up in the other direction. It's like when you get to Yonge Street and the addresses start going. Yeah, that's what it's like. Anyways, yeah, so this is episode number 5.
5 alive.
We're out here on this fantastic day of the year, whatever day of the year it is that we end up.
Don't worry about it.
It's fine.
You need not worry about it.
It's fine.
It's none of your fucking business.
Wow. A little hostile.
A little bit. I just want them to know that it's none of their motherfucking business, bitch.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Goddamn motherfucking business, bitch.
So what's on your mind recently?
What's on my mind? Oh, I was listening to the Kid LAROI album on the way here.
Oh, is there a new one?
There is a new one.
Ah.
It's the only album.
Okay.
He put out an album because he's that new of an artist that he doesn't even have an album yet, and so he just put it out an album. This is the album 1.
Really?
Kid LAROI album number 1. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. Because you've only really heard of him because of that Stay song, right? With Justin Bieber. Yeah. And he only had a few singles. Other than that, I think there was an EP and then a few singles.
So what calculated.
Listen, I don't know what the plan was, but something's going right. Anyways, Kid LAROI just dropped his debut album. The man, and I called this earlier, but we don't have documentation of it, so I'm calling it again now.
Now.
The man is Post Malone,
Light.
number 2. Post Malone the second, son of Post.
Son of Post.
Yeah, and Post Malone the second writes, I think, a generation younger pop music. We're using hip hop references like that a 20-year-old now would listen to instead of the sort of stuff that Post Malone, like in his 30s, was pulling from. So like the trap music and the hip hop that Post Malone does,
Right.
is just like a cycle earlier than
Right.
the references that
Right,
Kid
it's
LAROI
a
uses.
whole-
So we have now like a fresher sounding
Right.
Post Malone-y
Uh-huh.
type vibe. So that's my take on the Kid LAROI album thus far. I'm not that far into it, so I shouldn't make that many. Like I don't want to call it in terms of quality yet, but like
Well,
I think it's the songs I've heard have been good so far.
I'll
say that.
Like what generally works in the pop industry is doing the same thing that they did in the last Austin Powers.
Yeah. Okay, this is
because there's space to fill.
I love this conversation. This is my favorite conversation because all pop music is taking stuff that people have already agreed to in some form at some point in time and then repackaging it or reimagining it into something new that they already agree to because they've already agreed to like requisite parts of that composition or that like musical idea.
But we were just talking about Tate, who's the reimagination of Nelly Furtado.
Miss McRae.
Which is actually interesting because it's like both Canadian artists, right?
Yeah, like I think she's definitely doing some Nelly. Well, at least Timberland in the production on that album.
But I don't know
that the imagery isn't the same. So like it's not, I wouldn't say that it's like, but yeah, there are definitely elements of a Canadian, like from 20 years ago pop star, right, that are being reintegrated into this because Canadians already agree with all of the things that went along with this already. So yeah, 100%.
But it's interesting because none of her stuff from before, I don't know. I wasn't a huge Nelly Furtado head. I think I just heard the music that I heard. Obviously, the singles were humongous. Yeah. Those went on loop.
Yeah, I think it's impossible to not hear some of those.
Yeah.
Promiscuous Girl.
But pre this kind of new album, do you know what the album's called? I always forget. Of the Tate's. Tate McRae's new album. What are her albums called?
I'm not sure.
Anyways.
It's called Think, Don't Think. I'll get it.
He'll get it. Pre-era of that. So this is her first album, right?
Yeah.
You have that track that you really like. Think Later. You got the She Got Everything Else So Bad. Which I don't think Nelly really ever dipped into as an artist. But I guess right now there is this space for Canadian female artists to fill, right? I think Alessia had her time. Like, it's not that she's gone, but it's just I haven't heard her really dominate the charts in the way that she was like 4-ish years ago.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone goes through cycles of having budget and having time, and I feel Alessia is probably, if I had to guess, I would say she's like finishing high school and doing like some kind of university something.
Is she not?
Well, people aren't bothering her.
She's probably
that's what she's been doing for the past. That would be my guess at what she had been doing for the past, whatever, 3 to 4 years that we're talking about her not being around.
Right.
Yeah, because the last time she was on tour, she was literally in high school. Yeah. And she talked about that when I saw her at the iHeartRadio ball or whatever. She's fucking came from class and I got on a plane. So
we'll get more waves of her.
Yeah, we're literally dealing with the very beginning of that. We'll see what happens when she decides to make another album or whatever, but
I think right now the area is open, right?
Oh, for sure. No, yeah, like 100%. And I think because everyone goes through those cycles of having the funds, having the time, having kids or whatever, like it takes you in and out of like your ability to like really go hard on like working and marketing and like playing those shows, doing all of the stuff that it takes to be present as an artist. Yeah, like it's okay. It's a full-time job. It's okay sometimes if your like records are selling to just fade away for a couple years. Go live in some weird country on the fucking ride a Vespa to like the cafe every morning where you like have your little routine, and then you like come back to California. You're like, all right, I'm ready to work. I think this is probably a common thing. I feel like actors probably do it too, like in between movies and stuff. Yeah.
I imagine you probably do. You probably have like maybe a movie, a TV show, maybe another movie, and then you're like, I'm
gonna chill for a while.
I need to chill. I made some money.
And then someone comes along with something like better. Yeah. At a higher rate.
Yeah. And you're like,
you're like, yeah, all right, fine.
Getting too old for this shit.
But yeah, so I think that's the vibe. Yeah. It's like competitive. It's like a strategic competitive. And I think this is why record labels park people. Okay. Or it's often the excuse for why record labels park people. Okay. Is that they say they don't see an entry point for people because there might be a lot of what they're doing going on in the scene at the moment. So like maybe it's saturated, or there might be like nothing like that going on. So it's like a weird outside thing. Like if you have a goth rap artist on your roster, let's say.
Right.
I don't know what to do with that right now.
Right.
If goth has a moment.
Yeah. Then it's like
in popular culture.
Right.
Or like Blink 182 comes back.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, oh, let's go with this goth rap project now because it makes sense.
Because people are open to discover what's in this area.
And I think as a creative who might be doing something boundary pushing, I feel like the argument at this point would be I just want to be the first one to do something. Right. And I can hear people who are trying to be like, I'm just trying to make my own lane and blah, blah, blah. Start the fucking whatever, insert artist name here, wave. And that's great. But I don't think the people with the money are really going to get behind that. And the reason is because that's not a proven model for success. And that's all they really care about is proven things that they can actually do successfully that make money. They're business people first. It's like music business, but it's like business is more important than the music. It's the business of music more than it's the music of business.
But every once in a while, we do have a bit of a out of nowhere shakeup in the industry, right?
Oh, for sure. But like I think, like you're saying, it has to do with those random cycles of when it's like, oh, there's the major players at the time in that industry in your niche aren't doing it right now, or there's a bit of a hole, like right after a Beyonce tour is a great time to put out a SZA album because Beyonce is like on an off cycle now and she's gonna go chill for a bit and whatever. So now you have time to capture a little bit of that market share and a little bit of the radio play and a little bit of the fucking.
I guess my perspective of it is what we have a trend that is like set, right? BA before able. We were in this. Like hip hop had its own thing, R&B had its own thing going on, and then just pop in general was doing very bright.
Yes,
and I'd say probably like this Nelly Furtado era. Maybe it was before, but we had Britney. We had a lot of people doing this kind of bright, dancey, pop stuff. I don't know. You're gonna have to actually look at it. And what happens, from my perspective, and I might be entirely wrong, but you have basically this circle of influence where everyone's throwing the same idea back at each other. And then all of a sudden you have someone who comes through and just says, yo, fuck all that nonsense. We're going to do some dark R&B stuff.
Like a D'Angelo.
Yeah. It's someone who comes in and more or less sets the trend. I think without Abel, we don't really have that era of dark R&B that just absolutely flooded for a good amount of time. And I think it was for a time as well because if you think about it, like even from the film perspective, like we were getting darker movies. Yeah. Like Dark Knight was an entirely new take on like the Batman, who before was supposed to be this fun, dancey. Like what did we have? We had the Cesar Romero era of Joker, right? Like this very like bright, funny, pulls pranks kind of thing. Into like Heath Ledger being like, no, we're gonna get serious and we're gonna question everything that you know about life and like anarchy.
This is what a crime boss would actually be like.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I guess there is. Just
falls off the stage. Whoa. See ya.
No, yeah, I'm definitely gonna die here. I guess there is something that usually comes in to shake it up, right? Yeah. I think our most recent version of that was Billie Eilish.
Because everyone's doing very polished, overproduced sounding stuff, and
or just like trap
and stuff. She comes in with like underproduced, like single vocal and like piano. Yeah. And like nails its fucking 8 layers or 12 layers of just beautiful, like almost not tuned, probably just a little tuned. Yeah. Like vocal. Yeah. And just like really vulnerable sounding, like whisper almost close to your face instead of this kind of belty pop style that we're used to. And then like obviously it's exactly the opposite of everything that's going on. Right. Like, instantly everyone's like super interested, right?
Yeah, and then every once in a while you get those, like you said, like the ballady pop artists. Yep. So the Sam Smiths, the Adeles, and what's the new kid? I mean, he's not like new, but he sounds like a 30-year-old man, but he's like 22. No. White kid. I was there looking for the night you love and you hold it down.
Louis Capaldi.
Louis Capaldi. I find he falls into this era of
year-old man, like 22.
He does sound older.
He does, yeah.
He doesn't sound like this. You put Tate McRae, next to like it's just like it sounds different, capturing different markets.
Yeah, he's like adult contemporary.
He's adult contemporary, right? He sounds like a man.
It's those British schoolboys. They all come out singing like.
But every once in a while we get those, right? Yeah. And it's okay, we're not doing the 4-chord song anymore. Someone actually took time to build out an entire song structure.
It's because these songwriter geniuses are still lying around. David Foster is a dinosaur, but he is still he can still plonk around on the keys a little bit. Sorry, David.
R.I.P.
No,
Wait,
I'm sure could write a fantastic song tomorrow.
Yeah.
Even whenever this comes out. But
he just like dies.
No, look, what I'm saying is like these like this kind of like show tune writer style.
Yeah.
Right? Like of people who could write a song for Frank Sinatra and believably like and authentically is going away. Like it's dying out. That era of
right.
So I feel like Lin-Manuel Miranda annoyingly is getting flowers because he's paying attention to and has learned that style really well, and because no one's doing that. There's a hole in the market for Broadway style songwriting. If you could write a good musical right now, bruh, like you got money, because no one's trying to do that. Everyone's trying to go
someone's gonna take a beat and just
if you fucking make like a Broadway show tune. No. Like that's some money right now.
It's a lot more theatrical. It's whenever I hear the term composition, that's usually what I think of.
Yeah.
Where it's like someone actually sat down at a piano or at a guitar or whatever instrument they play and like mapped this mother out, right?
Well, yeah. Because you have to make songs like that. They have to be a little more like the melody's planned, the chords are planned, the pre-chorus changes are planned, the chorus like does a thing, and then maybe there's like a bridge that like leaves the key entirely and comes back. Yeah, that all that stuff, you got to think about that beforehand, because probably I can tell you how your track sounds. It probably has a bunch of like real instruments on it, regardless of whether or not they were like played all at once or like piece by piece. And in order to do that, to follow those rules, someone needs to at least make the plan and be able to articulate it, if not write it out and be like, here's the chart for this song.
I would have brought you flowers.
Yeah.
Your hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ballads, more like the ballad as the base. But that's like a lot of foundation of what like a lot of.
Yeah, I don't think you can like really call yourself like a songwriter if you don't seriously work on those kinds of ballads. Yeah. I think that might be the difference between a producer-songwriter like us and a songwriter.
Someone who knows
someone who can
moves.
like sits down with their just like on one instrument and just can make a thing.
Yeah.
'Cause I think that's the real test of a song, is if you can play it just by itself, listen to just the song and like the melody.
Right.
And like the rhythm of the chords, and like just in that is enough of like you can tell, you can almost hear the rest of the production already. That's the real test for a song. And if you can't strip it down to that without it sounding like dumb, then it's probably not the greatest song. So a lot of the stuff on the radio like doesn't pass that test, right? I think
needs the flair. Like it demands the flair.
Yeah.
I don't know, but there are songs I always try to think of, and this is where my focus has been a little bit more around, is like, how do we create those songs that stripped down are still just at its core? Like, how do you, I remember I had a good conversation with my brother about like campfire songs. It's one of those songs that you have your hallelujahs, you have your Wonderwalls, you have.
But so I think that's what I'm saying. Like it goes back to that older songcraft.
Yeah.
Right. That you really got to think about the melodies and the chords and the relationships between the different sections of the song.
Right.
That like make those songs into those successes that they are. Bohemian Rhapsody, for example.
Right.
You can sing entirely a cappella in a subway train.
Yeah.
People will join in.
Yeah.
And then they'll sing the instrumental parts that there's no one singing during, you know?
That's a full on just thing.
Yeah, yeah. So, and as cheesy as that style of composition is,
right.
You remember every word of that song in order, and like the sequence of the gets faster.
Yeah.
And then you know all that stuff.
Yeah. I think that's really why Queen was one of my favorite bands.
Yeah, Freddie Mercury was like super theatrical in his writing style. So
it's like getting back to that idea of campfire songs, or getting back to that idea of it's a banger. It's objectively just like a banger that just like it'll last eras and generations. Yeah. I mean, that's just the songwriting process. It's not even talking about the mixing, for sure, the production, all of that stuff. Yep. To have a song that still sounds good 30 years later. Yeah. Okay, Lonely by Justin Bieber. Right. Which I don't like, a polarizing track, I think, for people. But I think is a good example of just a song that just didn't need anything else. Right. And Benny made a call at some point to just leave Phineas's keys on there, and that was it. Yeah. You know, because it just sounds too good to do anything else. Right. Just mix that vocal real nice, you know, and call it a day. Yeah. And he said he was super nervous when that song came out. The day that song came out, he was like, I was shitting bricks that day. Right. I didn't know how people would take it. Yeah, because he didn't do anything. Right. But the decision to not do anything that's the production move, right? It takes a good producer to just be like, I don't, everything. Actually, that's perfect. Whatever you guys just did is perfect. I'm just fucking hit save. Yeah. You know? Yeah, there's probably, sometimes you're just like, this doesn't need anything. Yeah, for sure. And that's totally a thing sometimes, like with songs like Float, for example. You know what I mean? Like everything we add to that song just seems like this is dumb. Yeah. We should take it away. And then we take it away, and I'm like, that's better. Yeah. So maybe that track just doesn't need anything else. Yeah. You know? But I think it's one of those things where you're like, I don't know. I feel like every time I build that song out, it's like the live version. It's what I would like to do, Super Bowl performance style. Yeah. Of, this is the things that we're adding. But to do that, we have to release the not live version. Yeah. 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 Sometimes I think there's a lot of the time where you're adding to add, and it's not actually. You're like, how do we make this more explosive or fancy? But it's like, really, you just need those bones, right? Like artists like Lewis Capaldi, artists like Sam Smith. Mm-hmm. Like I'd say early Sam Smith. I don't really listen to much of his stuff right now. Mm-hmm. I haven't heard the Gloria album, but like definitely in that early era, or even like the Adele, they prove to you that like bare bones, piano and vocals, like it can still smoke on the radio. I think that's the ultimate test, is any song that you can listen to an acoustic version of and be like, this is still, I would still bump this. That's the real test. Yeah. I think that's cool though, because also producers, remixers, all of this stuff get their opportunity to now reimagine. Oh, for sure. What your song sounds like. And they don't really have any influence that's taking them a specific way. Yeah. Or they all have different influences. Yeah, exactly. That are taking them different ways. No. Like usually in the state of, if you were to give someone an Uptown Funk, it's like you already have this this base of instrumentation that's like, hey, this is the intention of the song, right? Mm. I think Where Are You Now started as a keys and vocals track, if we're talking Bieber. So there was like a version of that track that Bieber did like way back in the day when he was like small, which is also a heartbreaking song. But so it's like parts of that, but then like I guess Skrillex and fucking Diplo just went in and How are we doing? We are almost done. Okay. But I don't know. I'm starting from vocals and keys. Starting from vocals and guitar. Figure out whether your song can still hit without all of the doodads and because that song is like a super produced. Yeah, it's very. There's a lot going on. That song, like there are broken down versions of that song. Yeah. On iTunes or Spotify or whatever, or just iTunes, Apple Music, Tidal, wherever, and it's just literally it's just vocals. Mm-hmm. It's a great enough melody, like it's a great enough vocal line, it's a great enough like keys progression.
Yep.
It's not necessarily one of these full kind of Lewis Capaldi style productions.
No, but it follows the rules.
But it follows the fucking rules.
The rules are you start down low.
Yeah.
And like a little simple.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nice and easy.
Yeah.
And then in the pre-chorus, you go into your fucking like chest voice.
Yeah.
Oh, way there.
What's this song?
Frickin' Where You Know.
Okay, I thought it was. Oh, where I. Okay, all right, sorry. I was like, where is he started?
What's happening? Yeah. You do your full-on hook melody, which is the strongest melody that you have. Whatever you're doing in the writing room, whatever the best melody is, whoever wins the best melody of the day.
But that was taken over by the drop, right?
Well, yeah, in this case, there is no hook, right? He ends the chorus, and it just goes into the post-chorus thing. Yeah.
You now when I need you. You now when I need you. I need you.
Yep.
I need you the most. Wow. Hate that song.
Apparently, they made 40 versions.
So many.
So many versions of that drop.
Yeah. Lots.
That could not even be the best one. You know, we honestly don't know.
Yeah,
I don't even think they know.
Yeah,
whether or not that was the best version of the. That's just the one we ended up with. There were 39 at least other versions.
Well, from how I understand that from that video was just like every previous version contributed to what was. Well,
that's the thing.
Version,
that's the
right?
thing. They take something from this. They like the way that this happens. They like the spacing of this one. Yeah.
I like Skrillex's way of putting it, where he's like, up till the 11th hour, it's just like mixing colors. You know what I mean? And it's so much of that is just And then there's just decision time with this album has to come out. You're like, all right, great, boom, 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 boom.
So we'll do this. We'll do this. We'll do this. Yeah, we know this works from this, so we'll take that.
Something about that like finality, I think.
That chop that you did earlier was good, so we'll keep that. Yeah. This is how hits are made.
It is. And we're still learning.
Everyone's still learning.
Everyone's always still learning. Don't stop learning.
If you're not still learning, then you're not doing it right.
You're old. You become old when you stop learning, I think. I heard that somewhere, maybe.
How do we get here?
I don't know. I think we just started talking about compositions and stuff.
Started ranting.
We started ranting.
It always happens.
It does.
It happens every time.
Do your best.
I think the point of where... No, I don't. There's no point at this point. You've gone very far away from things that made sense at this point. But
did someone just right there just being like,
hey, you're talking about this. Hey.
Remember, you had a good thing that you started.
Anyways,
you're in Mexico right now. What the fuck happened?
Because I've been driving for hours. We're like, oh shit, yeah. We didn't put it in the GPS, so we just were on the highway.
We wanted to go. We were initially going
to. We had a good mixtape going. Eph got on a riff for a while.
Took over driving for a little while. Where
I was
are we?
Sleeping. Yeah,
I thought it would be good if we went to Mexico.
I thought we were still going. Yeah, I don't know. We were on this highway when I took over, so I just stayed on the highway.
How did we get to Mexico?
Did you use our passports?
Yeah.
How did you get my passport?
Oh, you were asleep. Okay.
How did you know I had my passport? Lucky guess.
Sleeping. Yeah, no, he has it. He's just slide it out, pass it to.
Well, now we're ranting.
Julian, wake up.
Now we're ranting about how badly we're ranting.
Open your eyes. What do they call? I heard this term, lampshading.
Oh my god.
Where it's like you address the thing. You address how stupid the thing that you're doing is, but you continue to keep doing it.
Yes, it's precisely what we just did. Lampshading. That's funny. Is that what you do when you're at a party and you have a lampshade on your head, and you go around telling everybody that you have a lampshade on your head?
Maybe. I don't know where it came from.
I don't know. That'd be my guess. Because it's dumb to have a lampshade on your head, but you continually just, hey guys, check it out.
It's like adjacent to peacocking.
Fucking so stupid with this dumb thing that's not supposed to be a hat. Oh, it's on my. It's a hat.
No, it's got to.
I don't know. Someone look it up.
Look up lampshade.
That'd be my first guess. This is my first guess.
Usually. Why is Jeff putting a lampshade on his head? Oh, he's got this new thing. He's a lampshade. Someone's just like This like guy who's like psych majors. That's genius.
It was an episode of Community where Jeff was gold blooming.
Oh man, yeah, I love that. Yeah.
I don't know what that means.
It's a gold bloom lampshade.
Yeah. Anyways, at one point we were talking about entry points to the industry, and
what's the moral of this story?
I was gonna circle that into something.
Okay.
So we were talking about entry points, and we got very sidetracked.
Yes.
But I think the point that I was gonna make at that time was that in order for you to guarantee that you have an entry point, quote unquote, to the industry, you gotta make it. You gotta make it for your fucking self.
Yeah.
Because if you sit around waiting for whoever has the money to decide when is the best time to go with your thing or put you and whatever they have decided that you are putting forward,
right?
Out
into
the world is, and they might have the entirely wrong idea. You might have changed your idea. They don't know. They don't really care. They have 1,000 of you, and they have ones that look like they're ready,
right?
And you don't look like you're ready right now because the last time you came to listen to you play them stuff, you were playing them songs like Pussy, and you were like,
great track.
And they were like, okay, these guys aren't serious right now. I'll go find someone who is serious, like 24 Karat Golden, and put my money there. So
why you always in a mood?
Yeah. So I think, it's just this is how it goes. But yeah, I think the point of all of that was that like making an entry point for yourself in the industry is ultimately just going to come down to staying independent,
right?
Which is just such a bummer of a phrase to hear if you're like an independent artist already.
I get it. You don't have any money.
Or if you're like 20 and you're like,
but you have a computer.
And you're like, I'm got stars in my eyes. I'm ready. Like I'm gonna do this. I hate to tell you this, but you're gonna want to just keep ownership of all of your stuff as much as possible. And
networking is more important.
Yeah, use your network. Your network is your net worth. It's the people that
straight up. There might be 5 or 6 people trying to do the same shit that you're doing.
Yep.
And odds are greater in numbers, or whatever. Whatever. It's just if 5 people come up trying to do the same thing.
Yeah.
As a group, collectively, look at the way that like Odd Future came in, Brockhampton, like it's.
Yep.
You come in like that, you're gonna be able to make a fucking splash.
I think this is an important thing, though, is that each of those artists like had their own individual camps and their own individual like intentions, right, as artists. And I don't think at any point they were like, as a group, we're like all gonna make the same moves together at the same time. Like they had collaborative things that they did.
Yeah, there weren't.
But it was like all of these individuals collaborating to do a thing, and not like One Direction, for example, where we're all gonna lose our individual identities.
They're not. They weren't a boy band. No. They were all individual artists, like Jules was saying, and they all came up. They basically were just homies that wanted to stay independent.
Yeah.
But it's greater in numbers. Like
100%.
Like
if you like make friends with 2 or 3, 5 artists, and you always feature on each other's tracks, you're always passing each other around, you're playing at each other's shows.
Yep.
You take one of them on tour to open for you, and then they take you on tour to open for them.
Yeah. That's gonna be the moves that
This is the stuff.
This is the thing that brings attention to what you're doing. And you look at guys like
it sounds exhausting. It sounds exhausting. It is exhausting right now, and it really is exhausting. And I'm so sorry about it. I'm sorry about your life that you have the sickness that is having to do music, because I know, I literally know.
Yep. We keep doing this. It's not logical whatsoever.
Can't stop. I literally cannot stop. But
DJ Khaled. No.
Can't stop.
No, that's Diddy. Sorry, Diddy.
I think the conclusion that I made was that I was going to be doing this for myself for free regardless.
Yep.
So I might as well figure out how to do it in a way that other people can benefit off of it as well.
Yeah, our goal is to set up something that would be able to benefit other people as well.
And I think if you're like us and you've decided that you want to try to be an artist of
us up on Instagram.
description. Yes, also do that. But yeah, I think it's tough. It's tough to fucking continually make the decision to be like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna spend all of the extra money I have, like on this thing that hasn't necessarily paid off to this point yet, other than getting an amount of attention in places, or being a cool art thing that you can say that you're involved in.
I had this feeling a few years ago where I was like, okay, like, I want to find a better word, but the best word that I can use is like a delusion. And I'll explain.
I think your 20s is best described as a delusion.
Yeah.
From about 21, 22 till like probably 28-ish, is like you're just solidly deluded.
Yeah.
About most things.
Yeah. And it's tough because like part of it is just picking a direction, and as cheesy as it sounds, like just believing that you can do it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are going to tell you to do a very linear path, and you can. Like, if that's what you want to do, you want to become a doctor, you want to become a lawyer.
And if you see the 30-year-old that you want to be, and like they're like living in a house that they can afford, and fucking they have just like a good job that they've been at for probably 5 years or something, 5-10 years.
There's
nothing wrong with just trying to figure out where that job is, and then staying at that job, and then trying to up your apartments to like the level where you're saving for a house, and then maybe you like maybe you live in a van for a year or two so that you can like really save money, or fucking, and then all of your Bay and fucking Queen money from your investment job or whatever goes to straight up profit, and then you can buy a house at 35. You and your girlfriend can settle down. Yeah, and it like sure.
We have friends that are like pretty much getting to that stage.
So many of my friends are married, and half of them more than that have children. So of them, the ones that are married, half of them have children at this point.
And I think just going to what you said, because I think what I was trying to say here is there is this fear. I think there is this kind of, what's that thing where you're like, there is this feeling where you're gonna wake up as an artist and you're like, I don't know. I genuinely don't know. Confused.
No, there's gonna be lots of...
I'm not sure that this is what I want to do.
Lots of days
and
like
that's
that.
very normal. And it may be that you don't want to do it. It might be.
F's trying to eliminate the competition.
Not even. It's just this isn't always fun.
No, it's not for everybody.
It's not for everyone, and it's not always fun, and there's a lot of pushback from people who
I could not imagine trying to do music if it was not something that I like needed to do to be alive. Like I don't know. Like I said, I would be doing this for free anyways for myself. And I think that's the level of doing this that you need to have in order for this to be something that you're going to take seriously as a career. And I think like YouTubers will tell you the same thing about starting a YouTube channel, right?
Yes.
It's like you need to love just making videos and the process of making videos so much.
The process excites you, really.
Yeah, that it's literally making the videos that you're doing it for. It's like seeing it on YouTube, seeing the views, that's all secondary. Yeah. It should just be you're focused on making a better video than the last video that you made.
Like I had a lot of times where I was
for like 2 years. I
would be like, yo, fuck this. I'm not doing this anymore. And I would just still go back to play on my piano and try to figure out how to write a song, or I would just be singing. It's just a very ingrained feeling, and not for everyone, but if it is for you, it's a long ride. And fuck, I forgot. It's normal to feel like you might feel like you're not doing the right thing, but it's if you really love man, I had a point, but I forgot it. But it was probably along the lines of if you really like the process.
Yeah. You got to make the music to make the music, I think is the point.
Yeah.
That we're trying to say in many words. But it's really, if you enjoy doing the part where you're making the music. Yeah. And you enjoy doing the part where you're like listening to a song that you made. Right. Those are the two key ingredients. Yeah. You know, if you don't like doing either of those things, like if you don't really like being in the studio, like you're annoyed. Yep. Or
some people just like to be an observer.
Yeah, yeah.
I've had people come to the studio and be like, "Oh, that's really cool." Mm-hmm. They don't want to be an artist. They don't want to be a musician.
No.
In the same way that I come to their office and they'd show me all the stuff they're doing, I'm like, oh, that's really sick. That's not what I'd want to do for a career, but I fuck with the fact that you fuck with this.
Crazy that you do that every day.
Yeah. That's that general purpose that people are trying to find in life.
Yeah, so I think, it's different for everybody. But, it's difficult to chase your dreams, whatever your dreams are. If you want to be a race car driver, that's, I think, more expensive than being a musician.
You got to have a car.
And
At least one car.
Yeah. Yeah, let me tell you,
hockey's expensive too, man. Hockey's
anything with equipment, anything in the winter with equipment.
Yeah. Golfers probably spend thousands of dollars on their clubs.
Snowmobilers and ATVers are chirping right now, but I'm not gonna. I don't know. I'm not gonna get into motorsports.
Yeah.
I don't know how much sport I count in. We did just say racing.
We did.
So I guess so. I guess you guys
sport.
can. Snowmobiles are dumb. I'm going to just say it.
Fair.
It's a dumb vehicle.
It's fair.
If there's somewhere, if you live in Nunavut and you can only get places by snowmobile, I'm not talking about you. But if you live in Ontario and you have a snowmobile, what do you do?
Yeah. If you live in downtown, if you live in populated.
I live in the woods and I have 4 miles from the nearest road. Sure. Do your thing. Cool. Yeah. I don't know. There's a lot of that. Welcome to the Polo Lewis podcast.
Thank you for joining us.
Where we don't know what we're talking about either.
We don't. Help us. Ask us questions.
Honestly.
We have a lot of I swear we have a lot of knowledge.
No, we're bad at structuring.
We're really bad at structuring.
Honestly, so we had a conversation 3 episodes ago before we started recording. And we asked each other whether we should what we should do when we make these. Mm-hmm. And because we can talk.
Oh, we can talk forever.
All day, as you can see.
Very well.
Not about anything.
Easy to talk.
It's not about much.
It doesn't mean anything. Really.
But we can just keep going. And so the decision that we made was to just talk and then decide what the episode was titled afterwards. But the other decision that we could have made was to title the episode beforehand.
Yeah.
And I think that might be the move, because if we know what we're trying to talk about, let's say we're trying to talk about something.
Sure.
Budgeting for musicians. Yeah. Then we can go on rants.
Yeah, I have
go on lots of rants,
budgets.
but they all branch out. They're all going to branch out and loop back to budget. Hopefully. They might tangent off and be like, oh, we got lost over in the woods over here. But then we can be like, budgeting for musicians.
Begin with the end in mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe.
What are you putting on that title?
Maybe a bit of that. So,
all right, we're going to go back and discuss.
If this has been a terrible and confusing experience for you, we apologize. But we are doing our best out here.
It's a learning as we go type situation.
This is only the 5th episode.
It's just us. If we were to show you what's on the other side of this, it's a wall and a couch.
We have the most minimal of setups. I think we say that in every episode, honestly.
We do.
We should stop.
There's going to get to a point where we're going to have a lot of shit, and we're going to be like, oh, we can't do a podcast episode because we don't have all this shit.
Yeah, the camera crew's not here, so we can't.
Camera crew's not here.
But right now, we can just do it by ourselves.
We can.
Anyways.
Peace.
I think the point is stay independent and try and just keep going.
Hey, McRae, hit us up in the DMs. We got tracks for you.
Oh, my God.
Sup.
Those were the 2 points that I got from
Those are the 2 points.
Conversation.
Actually, any of the artists that we listed today. We can list anyone controversial.
Us going for collabs.
Seriously. We got bangers.
Okay. Bangers. So this has been episode 5 of the Polo Lewis podcast.
This has been a complete shit show.
Yes. Yes, it has.
Thank you for joining us.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Thank you for your time. I'm Eph.
Hey, I'm Julian. Together we are Polo Lewis. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Goodbye.